Okay, so can we realistically expect higher prices in Bitcoin, right? Is the low in? And that's what I want to talk about. I want to share with you guys my view on Bitcoin and Mara stock. And then, of course, do we already have signs that the low could be in? Now, in yesterday's video, there was like no normal intro. There was like something wrong with my editing software, and then OBS was having issues. So I'm very interested in seeing if all that's finally fixed now. But let's go ahead and get started, right? We know that recently, today, out of nowhere, we started getting a ton of positive tariff news, right? And that caused Bitcoin to continue to rally higher. And this is all going to make sense in Bitcoin in a moment. I'm going to give you guys the Bitcoin elements, and then we're going to translate that into Mara stock, right? So here's the thing. Regardless, yesterday I said that the price can very much likely continue to rise higher. At the time, the RSI was not maxed out, overexhausted to the upside. We're still seeing some more momentum that I can continue to try to max it out because so far it's holding, at least on the hourly chart, the RSI, it is holding above its own moving average. But that's not super significant. It's all about the value structures, right? That's just a small element to the overall bigger picture. So I said we can go higher and take a look at this, right? So right now I believe futures are up quite a bit, um, influencing a bit of bullishness in Bitcoin as well. But we are still within the overall retracement that I talked about yesterday. This is an overall retracement from the swing high down to this overall swing low. Perfect bounce off of this fib supportive area. It never broke into it, but that's why I was accumulating my new BitU position early. That's why I said like a lot of this Bitcoin high volume fluctuations can easily happen, and they tend to happen, in my opinion, during closed normal stock market hours. It is the weekend still. It's Sunday, so and yesterday I wouldn't be able to buy or anything, so that's why I like to accumulate early when I believe bullish momentum is still very much intact. I'm gonna go over some more stuff, right? So we're still holding this retracement. We pretty much maxed it out. So what we're looking for right now is a sustained hold above this area. There's two ways I'm looking at this. Quite simply, the overall retracement from this move. We got to hold above that 116.5k level as a smaller picture higher low, which then can allow the price to, of course, you know, use that to build more bullish momentum and go up higher. Now, with this, I can't really comfortably create a fib extension higher on if we do break out of this. How much higher can we go before we see more fluctuation, like reasonable fluctuations? I can't really create it off of this. It's not reliable or realistic. There's not enough. There's no smaller picture retracements filled or anything for me to want to use. So if it breaks higher, basically we're just looking for the previous. And this happens a lot in Bitcoin in the past. I've talked about this a lot before. When previous extensions act as resistance going forward as well, potentially as the magnet. So we're still looking at 122.3k as a new top, unless we come down into this area in yellow. There's also I'm gonna give you guys a few additional stuff here before we jump into Mara, but since we consolidated pretty well here, holding that 120 moving average and went up higher, there's another smaller picture area to look at. This isn't super significant on the bigger picture, but it does allow like for spot trading Bitcoin. It does allow an opportunity to capture some short-term longs, with the possibility of the price still holding within this smaller supportive area, and then try to capture previous swing highs as TPs, right? Take profit. So we have a nice swing high at 120.3, another one at 121k, and of course the overall swing high. But it'll be better just to use the 1.618 extension at 122.3, with SL, in my opinion, just being the bottom of this supportive area at 118.6k. I believe this allows pretty good trade opportunity. I don't think it's going to hold very well because, of course, the RSI is pretty much exhausted. The price can easily go higher, but that's just being hopeful. We maxed out the retracement for a bullish correction. The RSI is maxed out. If we come down into this yellow area, I don't believe it's going to hold. I believe we have a higher chance of holding this area down here around 117k because it's just more significant. It really is. I mean, we can go all the way down to 116, 116.5 as well because, I mean, there's some nice imbalance here in the 2 and 4 hour time frame. So I believe this is much more significant. I believe this probably won't work out, but hey, you never know. It's still a pretty good opportunity. Tight SL, so I mean, regardless, it's pretty attractive with these swing highs being pretty up there. So the other thing too, I'm gonna delete this because again, it's just I just want to talk about it. But here's the thing, right? Regardless if we hold this support or not, we can even start using the retracement 0.35, 117.6k as support as well. It overlaps pretty well. But the thing is that regardless, if we start going higher, because we are holding some smaller picture swing highs and swing lows, we're still holding that. So if we continue to go up higher and we hold premium levels leading into the FOMC rate announcement, I believe Tuesday, the thing is that premium short-term prices, when expectations are very realistic that rate cuts are going to be held the same, and then they're the same thing, just waiting on more evidence that inflation is going down. Even though there's some positive tariff deals happening, some news articles at least that saying that there are, it takes time for these changes in tariffs to even take place. So just because it's happening now doesn't mean that the next CPI is going to show. It's not guaranteed to be lower CPI, right? Because there's a delay, and then on top of that, every CPI is a report from the month before. So, I just don't see a reason to be overly optimistic about it. Again, basically because the Fed is mainly focused on those monthly reports. So with that being said, any held premium prices in Bitcoin short term, I still believe it's a potential for it's a sell the news event, right? And we can see short term discounted prices, which I will personally be buying up as we go. Even if we don't go down into this red area, I mean, we're still holding a downtrend. We haven't broken this swing high, obviously not this one. We're in a retracement, so we can just see the price come down. It can hold support, and even if the price comes down into support, it can still, move like that because I'll just be keeping a track of a new retracement. Let's just say it bottoms out at 117. It just creates another smaller picture resistance for us to keep an eye on to remain realistic, and no reason to trade off of FOMO or fear or anything like that, right? Realistically, the charts tell me that, hey, the price came up into retracement, acting as resistance. If we can hold a higher low and break that swing high, then we could potentially start looking at deleting or not paying attention to this area anymore. But until that happens, this red area still stays as my primary expectation. And this is all going to make sense in Bitcoin in just a moment. So it's as simple as that, but any weakness after the FOMC, if we're in premium, we start falling. Again, I want to continue to accumulate early because even if we find support within this area, between like 110 and 115k, like if we find support around 113, anywhere within this range, like it can happen during closed market hours, and I won't have a time to purchase any more BitU for that swing trade. So I want to be early. And then just let the support play out, right? That's my approach. It's always been like that. So my overall view hasn't changed, but we do have potential to see early signs if we're gonna try to confirm this low to be in, right? And then for higher prices. But again, realistically, I believe there's a little bit too much optimism with the pathway ahead of us being more of a wait and see sort of thing with the continued CPI reports, and then of course the FOMC meeting and what their tone is gonna be more important. But regardless, right? I talked about this yesterday, and then I talked about it Friday, I believe, as well. No, wait, did I make a video Friday? There was one day I skipped because my OBS was acting up, and it got too frustrating. I told everyone on the Discord about it, so you guys already knew if you're on there. But but regardless, right? I kept saying even before we came into the orange area, obviously well before we came into the red, but before we came in here, we were still in premium. I kept saying like, hey, extension is telling me, just in my own opinion, this blue extension is telling me like, hey, volumes fading, our size very much exhausted. We maxed out the next short term leg up. So at that point, like buying long positions right now may not seem like a good idea. And instead, let's just wait for an overall retracement to happen. Any short term weakness in Bitcoin can amplify in Mara. And that's exactly what we saw, right? So we saw the price come down into orange as a opportunity to begin accumulating for a bullish correction. Regardless, we came all the way down into the discounted portion of it into the red. So that's very strong support, and then that's reflecting on the RSI as well. Just because we broke into the orange, we weren't really seeing an exhausted downside momentum on the RSI, but now we are after it went into the discount portion. So I told everyone in previous videos like, hey, if you accumulate in this area, we have an opportunity for a short-term TP within a simple retracement, and this retracement in white overlaps very nicely with this value gap. It can potentially act as a magnet. It's happened very much before. Last time we saw one as clear as this, at least that I kept track of it, was right here where we came down into a really nice accumulation area. We were calling swing lows as a potential area to buy small long positions, just risk management purposes. Retracement as a sell. Retracement ended up holding, which then caused the price to come down. So really nice call for that one. For those of you that take advantage of it, congrats. We found a nice support within the bearish extension as a buying opportunity, with eyes being this imbalance as a TP. We went up, couldn't reach it. We fell back down, keeping another retracement as support. Accumulation finally hit the TP area, and then from there we had another buy area. We had 2 times to actually accumulate before we went up into the extension that I gave you guys ahead of time. Nice area to sell. Hopefully you guys did. But regardless, we are now in the next accumulation area. Now, if Bitcoin continues to hold these premium levels overnight, we can easily see Mara potentially jump up. It could. It doesn't have to. Mara doesn't have to follow Bitcoin. But there's broad market optimism right now due to tariffs. So Mara can easily pump it. It's most likely, as long as Bitcoin stays premium and the overall market stays premium too. We can see the price come up and potentially hit $19.2 around there. So just breaking into 19. It may be a good opportunity to at least shave your position if you don't want to sell completely to lock in some profit. Because if Bitcoin stays premium, allowing Mara to rally into that value gap, and then we do have and we've seen this happen before, not always, but it happens enough where we see optimism and expectations collide on a important headline. We end up seeing a sell the news event. So we can potentially, as of right now, but we'll see what Monday's setup looks like. But we can potentially see resistance, sell the news, one more low before we go up into the next sell area. Again, accumulation area, sell area. This is an early opportunity to take advantage of a bullish fake out, but it's just simply a retracement. So it's very important to just keep an eye on that, and then make your own decision, your own due diligence on whether or not you believe as well that we may see a sell the news event. But I only believe that, again, because I'm not going to make a video when they announce it on Tuesday. It'll be well after. It'll be sometime in the evening. But that's what I'm doing going forward. I will look at Monday's price action. I'll make a video and I'll let you guys know what I think. As long as we're holding premium prices in the short term. If I still believe we're gonna have a sell news event, if we are holding those prices, and then I do believe, I'm just telling you guys ahead of time, it may cause, again, small fear in Bitcoin amplifies in Mara, so it could allow it to have a second dip into the accumulation area. I've said this so many times before because it's just what's realistic in my opinion. And then as short term early buyers that buy early and it rallies up, like they're gonna want to sell and take their profit, and that can cause that amplified fear, right? So again, we finally hit that red area that I said I wanted to see the price hit to begin accumulating. But again, it's very realistic. We can have a second test of it after it coming up into this TP resistance area. And then after the second test, then, I mean, it can come all the way down to $15.6, even, into the 14s, because that's how low I have the range. But regardless, the idea is to accumulate there and then not try to be greedy, like trying to time the bottom, but accumulating and understanding that the move higher into the next leg up area, it doesn't matter if Bitcoin pumps like crazy or whatever. Mara tends to take its time, usually. So this could happen within the same week. It could happen sometime in August or after. Like, Mara tends to take its time, but the idea is that we're buying a stock in discounted levels, realistic discounted levels, accumulating, buying low, and where it makes sense, and then selling high where it makes sense. It's as simple as that. There's really not much else to it. There's just a time factor that's a big question mark, but it's very important to keep an eye on Mara's monthly reports as well, right? They're not like a super big deal. Their quarterly reports are obviously the biggest one, but again, accumulation area, we already hit it, so there might be a short-term TP for then a second accumulation, and then the overall TP here. That's the idea going forward, right? But I'll keep you guys updated on that. I'm very much interested in seeing what Bitcoin does overnight tonight, and then of course Monday, leading into that FOMC Tuesday, right? So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let's see if Bitcoin holds a higher low. If not, preferably, like I would like to see, a really nice discounted price. But I am already invested 30K into BitU. It's not even half of what I want to put in, but I'm not complaining. I mean, if this thing rockets higher, I'll be looking for an opportunity to create an extension TP area where I'll be looking to sell, and then just using another simple retracement, which I would buy early into it. But yeah, there's always positivity in all sides. You just gotta prep yourself and position yourself to be good regardless of what happens. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed, and take care.